Good morning, good morning. This is Jacqueline Richardson, Miss JJ Diamond, Jackie, Deja, whatever y'all call me. Oh, I'm so out of it today, y'all. But I'm here with y'all. Hope everyone had a good weekend. We want to first thank God that we're alive today. And let's see what the weather is today here in Charlotte. Alexa, what's the weather today here in Charlotte?
In Charlotte, it's 61 degrees Fahrenheit with mostly sunny skies. Today, you can look for lots of clouds, with a high of 75 degrees and a low of 61 degrees.
Oh, yeah, that was one of the problems, y'all. It was so hot this weekend. Oh, my gosh. I had on a sweatsuit at work, and I thought I was going to die. It was so hot. I had to come up out my clothes. I had me a tank on yesterday, thank God. That's the thing about Charlotte weather, y'all. It can be cold in the morning, but by noon, I'm not even noon, sometime by 10, it's like so hot, it's unbelievable. So, yeah, we have to wear layers where we can pull them off, pull some of them clothes off, because it's too much, too much. Anyway, today, I want to talk about cats and dogs, y'all. You know, I'm tired of seeing people with animals and they're not taking care of them properly, so I just want to talk about that today. I'm an animal lover. I'm a major animal lover. I've always had animals. Here in Charlotte, I haven't had an animal yet. Oh, I had one animal. I came here. My dad went out and bought me a fish. But we wound up leaving fish with him. He actually bought it for the house. But he knew that if I was staying in his house, that he had to have a pet because I've always grew up with pets. No matter where I lived, I've always had a pet. Okay, so he went out and got a fish tank and a small little fish for me to take care of, and I dedicated myself to taking care of that fish until I left his house and got my own place in Charlotte. But we want to talk about, I've seen a lot of people with pets, and, everybody's so happy, gun ho to get a pet. They want to show their pets off. But half of them ain't even taking care of their pets the proper way. And pets depend on us, And we're going to first talk about them getting their shots, Pets are supposed to get their shots and get seen by the doctors regularly. Now, they have a few doctors at the Petco. They have Banfield. You could pay a monthly fee to have medical insurance for your animal. So your animal can see the doctor regularly. I've had Banfield. Shout out to Banfield. And there's a couple others here I've seen here in Charlotte that they have. You can get them go to your local Petco, and if they don't have the doctors there, ask them which doctor, where's their doctors located for the animals. And they have plans, people, because they know it's expensive when you get these pets, and you got to take them to the doctor, and they don't want the pets to be, they're not doing it just to get money out of you, people. It's a necessity. You know what I mean? These pets really need to be cared for, because they have illnesses just like us, Some have allergies, they have stomach problems, they just go through things just like us. So with that being said, I'm sorry, y'all, my allergies was on this morning. However, I'm trying to work it out. I've been going through a bad allergy sinus attack this weekend. It's been pretty rough, but I'm trying to make it. However, getting back to the pets, we want to talk about that. First, I want to say a few things before we get into the serious pet thing. One, as y'all know, Hasbro had made a JJ for real dog, and y'all know I wasn't paid for that, so I'm asking y'all, do not support it any longer, Also, my cat, Bootsy, they made a Bootsy, do not support, and they made Bootsy a girl, and Bootsy was actually a boy, so I'm asking y'all, do not support that this Christmas, okay, for those that already have it. I can say thank you, but I can't say thank you. I can say thank you for supporting the name, but I can't say thank you for funding me. So I'm asking each and every one of y'all, do not support those two, okay? Because those are a product of me, and they did not sign a contract with me. They did not donate to my nonprofit. they did nothing to help the people, and it really bothers me. It really sits on me really bad because I put a lot of work in for the last 30 years, and for y'all to use my name um, and to portray who I am, because a lot of people today, they wear fake furs, and it's true. You don't see too many real furs out here today, and yes, my fur is real, and for them, and they knew that, you know what I mean, and for them to portray me in that fashion, it didn't hurt. However, I felt like I should have been compensated for it so I can give back to my community. If I couldn't be compensated for it, at least my nonprofit, so I could continue to help the community. And they felt that it was okay for them to do what they do. And at this point right now, I am like totally flabbergasted with their nonsense because they don't want to compensate. And I would think if you would compensate, especially the person that you're marking, you would make more sales, because I would be the one to say, hey, Hasbro, buy Hasbro. But, they feel like they're God, because they've made so many games and so many toys that people are going to buy them regardless. You know what I mean? And this is why a lot of these companies are starting to come out with more and more toys, because they see how Hasbro has done me. So they want to be the competitor. And if you see other companies without the Hasbro logo, Mattel, Disney, buy those. You don't have to buy Hasbro, But of course, they always make the hot toys because they always marking people, and then they turn around and don't even want to compensate them. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. The other thing I wanted to throw out there, it was something else. I lost train of thought, y'all, because I'm so pissed off with Hasbro. This is now a seventh Christmas, and I have not got a check from them yet to throw back into the community and give toys to the community. I haven't even got pallets of, and I've asked them, can I get a couple of pallets? I'll go out to the stores and help sell them so we can make the revenue to give back to the community. And they still have not accepted my proposals. So with that being said, I'm telling all those, and y'all get the word out. It ain't gonna take long. Y'all know how I work. I work from the ground. I tell people all the time, and DMX said it best. I'm for the streets, because I am the money. The ground is the money. You understand what I'm saying? So with that being said, when you mess with Miss JJ, you messing with the ground, and the ground decides, okay, whether or not they're going to follow Miss JJ or they're going to follow this company that's mistreating us, okay? So, we're not going to talk about that no more. Now we're going to talk about the dogs, the pets, okay? Now, I've had several pets, y'all. I've had so many dogs in my life. Y'all know I talk to y'all about these pets all the time. My memories of these different pets. I've had cats. Y'all know that. I told y'all stories about the cats. I've had fish. My piranha. I miss my piranha so much, y'all. He lived so long. Well, not real long, but he lived for 7 years. No, longer than 7 years. Let me see. I bought him in 2006. Because I bought my piranha with my first check I got at Frito-Lay. Okay? That was my gift to myself. For getting the job and performing, and I got that check, and I looked at that check, and I said, I'm going to buy myself a gift. And I bought my silver belly, the red belly, piranha. And he was silver and blue with red spots on his belly, like a bluish silver. And I think I told y'all I had named him J Murder. And, because, piranhas, they murder. That's what they do. And the J after me. That's what they do. So I put him in a tank by himself. I had some Oscars, but I didn't want to put him in a tank with the Oscars because they would have been battling, because, Oscars are territorial. So I didn't want to put him. So he had his own tank, and he lived from 2006 until 2012. October of 2012, he passed away when we had a hurricane, and I had no lights, no electricity, because the lights had went out during the hurricane, and I couldn't keep his tank warm, and it was really, really cold. His tank was on the second level of my house, and I just couldn't keep it warm enough for him to. Now, if I had to do it over, I would put my fish tank by the fireplace, okay, because I would have been able to keep him warm that way. However, and then he would have been on a first floor where if I had a generator, I could have been able to plug it up. And I had a warning, y'all, because the first hurricane that I experienced in Maryland with my fish, my lights went out, but the lights came on fast enough, and they was able to survive. Plus, they was on the ground, and my house was pretty warm, and it was pretty warm outside. However, this particular hurricane, it got cold after it, and it was so cold that, I just couldn't keep the house warm enough and keep the water warm enough for him. So yeah, it was pretty rough, and he wound up losing his life, and I was really upset behind my fish losing his life, because like I told you, that was my first gift to myself, and I built a bond with this fish. If he was hungry and he saw me walking down the stairs, he would ram the tank. He had his own personality, and that's the thing with animals, y'all. Animals get their personality. They become a part of the family, just like, even though Alexa is a computer, she's starting to become a part of the family. They learn you, and they learn about you, and they become a part of you. So we want to take care of our animals the proper way. We don't want them to be in chaos, because we are their leaders. We take care of them. We help them. Without us, they wouldn't survive, okay, unless they was in the wild, and sometimes they have a hard time surviving in the wild. So this is why we want to take care of our animals the proper way. If you really can't afford to get a cat or dog, because it is very expensive, people, don't get it, because they need to be taken care of properly. I'm gonna tell you some stories. Your cats and dogs need to be registered. Okay, we don't have to go that deep when it comes to fish or birds and stuff like that, but when it comes to cats and dogs, they have to be registered with the state, okay? And if they're not registered with the state, if they pick them up on the ground, you know what I'm saying? They put them in the cage because they're not registered. If they bite somebody, they're not registered, And it's like something I had experienced where both of my dogs were registered. Thank God that my mother had got Remington registered in New York City, and I had the paperwork because I had told my mother. I had actually gave my mother Remington. I had him in Buffalo, and where I was staying at, they didn't want any dogs. And the reason they didn't want any dogs is because we're going to talk about this too. People don't like to poop or scoop the poop. Now, this is your job. You have babies, and you wipe poop and pee all day when you have babies. So if your dog is part of your family, you should be picking up your dog's poop. Okay, they have all kind of plastics where you can pick up your dog's poop. They sell them at the stores. You can even create your own. Some people use they leftover bags from the store, whatever it takes to make sure that poop is not on the ground. And this is why a lot of communities don't like dogs. But then you have a lot of communities that are dog lovers, and you can the people they obey the rules. They poop and scoop the poop. It's nothing wrong with it, people. It's just waste, and you want to get rid of it properly because it puts bacteria into the air. Okay. So what we do with our poop. We poop when we flush at the toilet, so it goes away. But when all of this poop is out in the street and in the grass, okay, it's putting bacteria into the air. I bet you I didn't think about it like that. But yeah, those are the facts. Okay. And we're inhaling those bacteria every single day. And your dog has done it. Okay. Now, you might be one of those that has fed your dog food that the dog shouldn't even have. Okay. And we're going to talk about that right now. About allergies, y'all. Dog food. We want to talk about dog food. Okay, if you can't afford, and I'm gonna say it again, if you can't afford to own a dog, don't get a dog. Wait. Okay? Because dog food can be very expensive. But then they have places like Sam's Clubs that sell it real big, so you may only have to buy it once a month, and the supermarkets put dog foods on sale just like anything else. Okay, and you try to buy the big bag so you'll have it. If you don't have, the same way you would do yourself. And I'm trying to get the people to understand why you need to stack your shelves, stack your cabinets, and stack your freezers. Okay, the same thing you do with your dog. Okay, you stack his stuff. Make sure he has his stuff. You don't wait till the last minute and then all of a sudden you ain't got no money. Now you got to choose between the dog and a bill, or the dog and yourself. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to do that, because the animal didn't ask to live with you. Okay? So you want to take care of these dogs. Now me, I spoil my pets, y'all. I'm sorry to say. I'm just like I spoil my kids and, bad Jackie. I got to slap myself on the hand, because I do spoil the kids and I spoil the animals too. Everybody can tell you my animals wore clothes. I buy my animals clothes. Shout out to Petco. I seen the pink vest. They have came out with a pink vest, like my pink vest, for the dogs, and I love it, y'all. It's so cute. I can't wait to get me a dog, and they can get a pink vest, just like mine. I'm gonna hold on to that vest, even though I don't wear it no more. I'm gonna hold on to that because I love it. I've seen a lot of things out there. They now have shoes for the dogs, y'all. I want to bring this to your attention, and I don't want to go all over the place because I want to stay focused on why you really need to take care of your pets. Shoes. They have shoes now for the dogs. Okay. Now you remember. Now I know it's gonna be hard for dogs to try to walk in shoes or walk in socks, because they have some socks too. Shout out to whoever created that. I love it. And a lot of people want their pets to be in their beds. The pets to be laying in the bed or at the bottom of the bed. Now, like I'm gonna use when I was coming up, Boogaloo, he was not allowed. For those that lived on Cortland Avenue in the Bronx with me, everybody knew Boogaloo. Boogaloo was not allowed to get on the bed. Boogaloo slept at the bottom of the bed on the floor. Only thing that I didn't like is that we had hardwood floors. So it was cold down there. So poor Boogaloo wound up catching cold in his little legs, and he caught cancer, and he wound up dying. Okay. Now, if I had to do it all over again, Boogaloo would have a whole bed. Okay. He will have a whole bed that he can keep his body warm, and get in at night. That's going to keep his legs warm where the cold didn't set in. So when I sit back and I think about a lot of these things, that my family done wrong, when it came to the pets. And it wasn't wrong that he couldn't sleep in the bed, because he walks outside. So it was good that he couldn't sleep in the bed, but he wound up catching cold in his body because he was sleeping on a cold wood floor, So this is why they have beds. Just like you need a bed, dog need a bed too, people. And this is why we have to, if you don't get a pet, if you can't really afford it. Okay? They sell all kind of beds. Shout out to the dog. I was recently dealing with Hannah. She had a beautiful black bed she would get in. Was it black? I think it was black. But she was black. I don't think the bed was black. Blue. It was blue. And she go crawl in her little bed, and get warm. When she cold, or take her little nap. She had her way of making a pillow, because they had like cushions on the side. And I love Hannah. I miss Hannah so much. We dealt with Hannah here in Charlotte. We couldn't have a dog, so we had pretty much adopted Hannah, walking her, giving her extra care because her owner couldn't give her the 100% care that she deserved. So we had adopted her, and we, when I say adopted her, not adopted her to like buy stuff for, even though we did buy stuff for her, but we gave her that extra love. And this is what we want to talk about. Dogs have to be walked every single day, people. Okay. If not every single day, they got to be able to get out and run. Okay. They got to be able to deal with people. Okay. So you can't keep a dog locked up in the house day after day after day. Okay. And I just want to throw that out there because I know a lot of people that do that. Okay. The dogs have to get out and be able to be in society just like us. Okay. I want to go back to the shoe thing. Now, I notice a lot of people, and I've seen a couple of dogs out with their shoes on. And like I said, I can appreciate it because people will allow their dogs to get in the bed. And their feet needs to be clean, just like ours. We're not supposed to go outside and walk with no shoes on, okay? Because bacteria sets in, we get in our beds, and the bacteria now is in our bed. Now the bacteria has a chance to grow, get in our bodies, and only God knows what we are catching because this dog has been in our bed with this bacteria from his feet that he hadn't walked in the street. Okay? Now, unless you're going to be that type of person, every time you walk your dog, you come in and you sit him down and you wash his feet, then get him some shoes. Okay? If you're not going to be that person. And I'm just keeping it real with you because we're trying to get rid of all these different bacteria. They don't know where this COVID came from, and we have to be cautious of each and every thing that we do. Where I live at right now, we have the wild animals here. I have a lot of geese, and I have ducks, and I have pelicans, and I have all kind of birds. And they walk the grounds and poop. They poop all over the ground. Now, granted, they don't have no family members, meaning like humans. They don't have none of us. So they poop anywhere. And there's nobody out there to pick up the poop. Okay? So now we go outside and we walk in these areas where the poop might have been. And if it doesn't rain, if God doesn't clear the earth, meaning let it rain hard where it's cleaning everything, we're subjected to all of that bacteria. Okay? So now we're walking outside with no shoes on. Just like when I first got here to Charlotte, I saw a couple of my friends walking around with no shoes on. I'm like, yo, put your shoes on. You know, and they're like, oh, God, I've been doing this for years. I don't give a damn what you've been doing for years. It's nasty. The ducks is out here, you know, and I have to throw it at them. You know what I mean? Stop coming outside without shoes. Because we have wild animals out here. We don't know what they're eating. We don't know who they're touching base with. We don't know what they're doing while they're out here. That's why they call them wilds. Because they're out in the wilds. So we want to walk with shoes on. Okay? We want our animals to walk with shoes on, or you take the time out to clean your animal's feet if you feel like your animal is going to get in your bed. Okay? Now, if you've changed your animal not to get in your bed, then you're good. They got their own bed. They get in their bed, you know? And that's the best way to train an animal in the beginning. Make sure that they have their own bed. Now, cats got beds too, y'all. They got beds for them. Cats don't have to be all over your bed and all over your counters. When I had Bootsy, if Bootsy got on my counter, Bootsy was going to get his butt tore up, and he knew it. So he would never get on my counter. Okay? I didn't play those games. He knew. Do not get on my counter. Do not get on my table. I be seeing videos on TikTok or on Facebook where the cats is on the counters, on the table. It is nasty, people. The cats get in the cat litter box, okay, and poop and pee, and then spread all of the stuff all around. And the next thing you know, the cat is on the table, and then you're gonna sit down and eat dinner right with the where the cat has been walking. No, people, that's nasty. You cannot do that, okay. So make sure your animals you train them from babies. Do not get on my counter. Do not get on my table. Do not walk around my house like you own it. They have to be trained just like people. And sometimes they will go get on the counter because they see you been cooking up on the counter. So now they want to get on the counter and rub on you, you know, or whatever the case may be. Stop them. I'm not saying beat them to hurt them, but you pop them a little bit. Let them know, no, you cannot do this because it's nasty and it would affect your family. And then you wonder why your kids got these illnesses, and it's because you're not doing things right. You might be the type of person to clean, you know, your house properly, but if your cat done walked on after he got out of his cat litter box and took all the feces and urine and walked it across your counter, and then now you come along and cook, how clean is your house, really? So I'm just giving y'all the facts, people. You know, I've seen some things out here, okay? And when I get my animals, I try to get them brand new, small, so that way I can train them, so that way I don't have to pop them because they already know. You know, they know. Don't do it. Now, the way we pop our animals normally, you know, I pop them with a finger because they're so small. Like, pop them like, hey, no, you know. some people back in the day used newspaper for big dogs. They'd take a piece of newspaper and roll it up and pop them on their little butts to tell them no. But they have trainers out here as well, people. If you want to get a trainer to help you train your dog, that they cannot get on the counters, they cannot get in the beds, they have to live in their area. And when you want to spend time with them, you get down to their level. And that's the way you do it. And then they know. Sometimes my dog Boogaloo, he would come and put his head on my lap, and I knew he wanted to play, so I would get down on the floor and I would play with Boogaloo. Okay, that's how that would go. It wouldn't be Boogaloo jump up in the bed and wants to hug and all that stuff. I'll get down to his level and hug and play with him. Okay, because you have to give the animals attention. That's another thing. Okay, they want love too, just like us humans. We got to give them love. Now, I seen yesterday, they have this new bird food. Now, for those that have birds, I wanted to go back. I'm going to go back to the dogs. It's the other thing. Now, if you're afraid of your dog rambling in the house while you're not home and doing all kind of thing, people buy a cage for your dog. It's nothing wrong with a dog being in a cage while you're at work. And when you come home, you're able to watch that dog, just like if you were home. You know what I mean? Because dogs, they get into stuff. Y'all seen the movie, what's the name of the movie? I can't remember the cartoon, where the dogs was having parties in their houses and doing all kind of stuff while the parents went to work. It's true, okay? They can't open up the door and let people in unless they know how, but they learn these things, okay? Just like with my cat Smokey. Smokey would go outside, recruit friends, and have them in my house, okay? These things really happens, okay? So, sometimes we have to put our animals in cages so they won't be out doing all kind of craziness, okay? When I had my two dogs, Neji and Remington, they both had their own cage. They both slept side by side. First, I put both of them in the cage because I didn't want them to be lonely. That wasn't working out because they was fighting. So I had to remove them because I didn't want them to be lonely. You know how we sleep together sometime. So as humans, we may sleep with our family members, our mates, or whatever the case may be. So I put them in there together so they can sleep together and won't be lonely. They was fighting, so I had to separate them. So they had to have two separate cages. And it worked out better that way, because I didn't have to hear them all night, them fighting. Everybody went to sleep like they were supposed to. Okay. Now we have some dogs that's trained to walk the house, that they can walk the house and not tear up stuff and bite up the furniture. And, those are the dogs that's fully trained. They've been to school. Okay. So if you want your dog to be a guard dog, if you can't train your dog properly, they have all kind of books, videos, and everything. Get you a trainer, okay? If you can't afford to get a trainer, and your dog is really not a guard dog, your dog is a family member, get yourself a cage and put that dog in a cage when you go to work or go out, okay? Unless you take your dog with you. A lot of people take their dogs out with them, I was one to put my dogs in the car too. So, come on, let's go. Because they slept in the cage at nights because I didn't like them rambling through my house. So, I would take them out just like I was going out. They would do workout with me. They ate dinner when we ate dinner. Like I said, when it was time to go work out, they was on a leash right along with us. If I was going to the supermarket, I would put them in the car. Come on, let's go. And I'll leave the windows cracked so they can have air. So they lived everyday life just like us, okay? Until it was time to go to bed. When it was time to go to bed, they had to get caged because they would be rambling through the house, biting stuff, tearing up stuff. One morning I woke up. Remington had opened up his dog food. I had the bag sitting out. I didn't put it up. And he had the dog food all over the kitchen floor when I woke up. So that's why Remington had to be caged. Because Remington wanted to eat when Remington wanted to eat. And I get it, you hungry. But we're going to get you a schedule here. Okay, you're not going to be eating when you feel like it, because then that means you're going to poop when you feel like it. Okay, no, we're going to regulate your body. So he wasn't used to that living with my mom, because my mom had him on a whole different schedule. Okay, this is the other thing, people: feeding your dogs regular food. Okay, now dogs' digestive system is not as strong as ours. So the food that we feed our dogs, the food that we feed ourselves, we cannot feed our dogs. Okay, this is why they designed dog food, because they made it where, and shout out to Buffalo. Oh, Buffalo, with y'all dog food. They have a dog food company in Buffalo. And every time I went in a certain area, I would smell that dog food and be gagging. Okay, because it made my stomach sick. And I said, how can the dogs eat this stuff? And granted, yeah, that dog food smell bad. But it's broken down for them so they can digest it. So we can't give them beef and pork and chicken and all this other stuff, because this is why the stores, the companies have designed this particular food, because they can't digest it. Okay, the most that we give dogs is white rice. I've given dogs, especially like pit bulls, I'll give them white rice, and German Shepherds too. Just plain white rice, mixed in with their dog food if they eat too much. Okay, the white rice is not going to hurt them too bad. Granted, you can't be giving them all of these flavored rices with all of this other stuff. This other thing, vegetables, certain vegetables. I have someone that was giving their dogs vegetables. Certain vegetables the dogs can't have. Okay. So you gotta do your research on that. They just can't have certain vegetables, people, because they can't digest it the way we do. So we have a hard time digesting vegetables. So what make you think that they'll be able to digest them? Okay, so we got to do our research on certain foods that we feed our dogs and our cats. Okay, well, y'all know cats, they eat their cat food. They can have tuna. They love tuna. I used to give my Bootsy tuna every time he caught a mouse. I lived in the Bronx, and we always had the mice lurking. So Bootsy would do his job. That's what he was there for, and he'd bring the mice to me. Ugh, I hate it because I hate rodents. But he would bring the mice to me and drop it to the floor. Plow. And I'm like, Bootsy, why would you drop it right here? Now I got to call somebody to pick it up because I ain't even like to look at it. But I owed him a can of tuna. He was used to that. That's why he would drop the mouse right in front of me. So I would have to give him a can of tuna. Every time that was his treats. You know how we treat ourselves with lobster, steak, and shrimps. Well, that was like his lobster, steak, and shrimp for doing his job. And he got accustomed to that. The way you train your animals is the way that they're going to treat you, people. Now, granted, my Bootsy, and this is what I want to explain to y'all. Now, I'm allergic to cats and dogs, My Bootsy used to get in my bed, especially when I was sick. Okay, but Bootsy wasn't an outside cat then. He always stayed inside. He would get in my bed and lay on me when I'm sick and, until I get better. And then, be back to normal. But if I was laying in the bed sick, he knew it. He would come, He would even lay with my son, when I would leave my son by himself, he would stay there and watch him until I get back, My cat was trained, and that's how animals are. If you train them proper way and they know certain things, they're going to do the job, okay? So your animal can be not only a part of the family, it can be a babysitter for a minute, okay? It can be give you that extra love that you've been missing, They can be wonderful things, but we still have to take care of them just like we take care of ourselves. We're going to talk about the birds now real quick for this podcast. And I've seen some new bird food. And, a lot of people, they buy the bird seeds and stuff. And I don't know if a lot of people are aware of this new bird food. Now, birds like worms, y'all. And we own these birds. Who wants to go buy worms for our birds? Like, ugh, worms, that's for fishing, We categorize things differently, but I've seen this new bird food. And it's like how can I explain it? It's like a ooh, it's oh Lord, I'm trying to think of what we call a cylinder. It's like a cylinder. Okay. Y'all know in math, the cylinders, that's how it's shaped, like a cylinder. And it has nuts, worms, and all kind of stuff in it. And I just thought it was so perfect when I seen it, because that's something that your bird can just eat off of. And for people that just take care of the birds outside, outside their homes, and they put bird food out, this is something great that y'all can get, that y'all could just hang on a tree and they could come along and eat all the nuts and stuff that's up there. And it has little worms in there. And I looked at it and I was like, ew, at first. But then when I read it and I'm like, wow, people really come up with some things. Shout out whoever made this. But it's perfect because then they can get all the nutrition that they need. Okay? Because birds, they eat the worms, but they have to come down to the ground. And a lot of the time, the worms don't come out of the ground unless it rains. So if it doesn't rain, it's really hard for them to find worms. And worms have certain type of vitamins that the birds need. Okay? So with that being said, this way, they're still able to get their worms during the seasons that it doesn't rain much and the worms don't come out the ground. Okay, so for those that's bird lovers, yes, that's a new product that's out. Y'all can try it. I don't know what it's called. I should have took a picture of it, but I be working so much and working so fast, I don't be having time to really look for it. Look for the name and the company and all that stuff. So what I say is Google bird food with worms. Google something like that. Bird food with worms. Like I said, and it's all compacted together. So it's not even in a bag that's loose. It's all compacted together. So it's a hard thing. I don't know what they put on it, but they're able to pick stuff off. Because I noticed when I rubbed the bag, some of the nuts was falling off little by little. So it's like frozen together, but not frozen. But they got something that helps it stick. I don't know what it is. And it just reminded me of the birds, like some of my neighbors, they feed the birds and the birds come to the thing and they get their food. And then I have another person that they always make sure that they have fresh water out in the bird bath so the birds can take a bath if it doesn't rain. Because the birds need to bathe too. People don't realize, these animals need to bathe too, just like we bathe, You don't bathe, what happens? You start feeling icky, you stink, so they be needing to bathe. And, the person that I'm talking about, they would say, can you please fill up the bird bath for me? And I say, yep, sure will, because they need to bathe. If it get hot, the water starts to evaporate. So we will make sure we put some fresh water in there so the birds can take their bath. And that's why they created bird baths, people. So if you live somewhere and has a bird bath, and I noticed out here in Charlotte, I've seen plenty of houses with bird baths in the center of their house. They have in their yard, and the bird bath be dry, bone dry. Come on, people. Put some water in the bird bath. Okay? And I look at it and be like, that's a pretty bird bath. And it's just as dry. And you can tell they ain't put no water in a long time because it's filthy. People, if you have it, utilize it. You're taking care of nature. So, yeah. I see them every day. I pull up to these houses. But yeah, and I do see a lot of people out there that take care of their animals. They don't play about their animals, and I'm one of those type of people. I have an animal. I don't play about my animal. It's like my baby. I've given birth again, even though it didn't come through my body. Hey, this is my baby, and I am going to take care of it. I'm going to the store and buy it what it needs. Okay. My little Neji, he had hoodies. Okay. So, people was laughing at me. I didn't give a care, but my son wear hoodies. I wear hoodies. Neji gonna wear hoodies. Okay? My daughter wear hoodies. He's part of the family. He needs a hoodie too. So he had him a little red hoodie, just like my son. Shout out to Neji, wherever he's at. We couldn't take care of Neji no longer, so we gave him to a little girl in Maryland. where he is. I don't know. There was a family that needed a dog, and we told the doctors that we could no longer afford them. The last time we went to the doctor, so they said they had someone that was able to take Neji, that they thought that would take care of Neji the way I took care of Neji. So, yes, so Neji had found another home. And Remington, I told y'all he's in Delaware. He found him a new home as well. Only thing I don't like, they what they call it, neutered him, and it hurt me to my heart. I don't feel kind about them cutting off the balls of the animals. I feel some kind of way about that, but I understand why they do it. But I just feel some kind of way about that, However, that's what happened to Remington. But we pray that Remington and Neji are fine, and soon we'll be getting a new dog, because Egypt hasn't grew up with any animals other than the fish. She remembers the fish, and she remembered Neji and Remington, but she was too little to interact, because the family has to take care of the family pet. That's the way it works, When we got the fish here in Charlotte, she would help me clean the tank once a week. I had dedicated myself to that, and she needs to get something to care for, So soon I will be getting her a pet. We were hoping for a small pet. We don't do the rodents. We don't do the hamsters. I don't like rodents. We don't do the squirrels. I spoke to a lady the other day. She had 2 flying squirrels in her house. With her pets, and I'm like, ugh, I can't do those. But to each his own. For those that like those type of pets, I have to respect it, because I'm an animal lover. However, certain animals are just not for me. I stick to the cats and the dogs and the fish, and their iguanas and stuff like that. And what is it, Komodo dragons? We stick to those. We're lizards and cats and dogs and birds. I really don't want a bird. My daughter's asking for one. I don't want a bird because they chirp, too early sometime. And then you have to probably take care of them. Now you got birds, you got to make sure you have the bird cover, because when it's time to go to bed, you need to, cover them up. So they got to be taken care of proper too. So they can be pretty expensive as well, when it comes to the start out, getting their cage, getting their cover, making sure they have the proper food, cleaning their cage, on a regular basis. Sometimes people will let them out, let them fly in the house, making sure that you prepare for that. If you can't find them if they hide on you, you got to be, prepared for all these different things. So, all pets, you got to find out what type of pet will fit good with your family, and that's the key. I don't know if any of y'all saw, when 50 Cent had Oprah, he had a dog named Oprah, and I wouldn't talk to him on Facebook because I told him, I said, did you take Oprah to the doctor? And it was funny. And I put up a picture of Neji Remington at the doctor. So he had to wind up taking Oprah to the doctor because I wasn't playing about it. I'm not talking to you if you not doing right by your dog. Okay, if you can't take care of your dog, you can't take care of me. You can't be around me. Okay, so he put up this this picture and with Oprah saying what people had put. I took the bee to the doctor. We call female dogs bees, but. And he put that up there, people thought it was hilarious, but I wasn't playing with him. If I can't be in your circle. I can't make no songs with you. I can't even say I know you if you're not taking your pretty dog to the doctor, So I'm very big on that, people. So if you're not taking care of your animals, I'm not rocking with you, because I feel some kind of way about people that just have this hate for or dislike for animals, So if you're not loving your animals the proper way, don't come my way. And that's just the bottom line. Well, y'all, I'm going to end this podcast. Y'all make sure before y'all get some animals, y'all go out to Petco, see the prices, see what y'all need. There's a lot of things out there that the animals need that you may not be able to afford right away. However, just go and look and ask around what animals could and could not need, so you know how expensive it can really be, and can you really afford it? They are actually now making dogs so expensive to where people just can't afford them anymore, But, to each his own. Well, this is Jacqueline Richard Simmons, JJ Diamond, Jackie Deja, whatever y'all call me. I love y'all all, and I will speak to y'all tomorrow.